Hello and welcome to Talk from Superheroes. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew Ivemy.
And I'm Diana McCullum.
And you're listening to Talk from Superheroes, where every week we discuss a piece of superhero television or film. And this week we are building up to the release of Mortal Kombat. The second one, Mortal Kombat again, Mortal Kombat 2021.
Reboot.
The reboot.
Mortal Kombat-ier.
We're hitting it again.
Two Mortal, two Kombat.
They're back again, baby. You can't keep that cold boy down, or the hot boy either.
Airbud 2, Mortal Kombat.
A hot boy Summer, that hot boy Scorpion. They're coming back. It is Mortal Kombat next week. In anticipation, we're doing more video game movie this week, and we're going to be talking about Warcraft.
We are talking about Warcraft based on the video game World of Warcraft. I assume. I didn't play it, but I know there's orcs.
Legally, it is based on the video game World of Warcraft.
I do like to know legal definitions of barriers that we're crossing.
It is produced by the video game company Blizzard.
Oh, I did see that in the opening.
Yeah,
that looked familiar.
Yeah. Which must have been, as someone who doesn't play video games, a wild ride for you to be like, what's this film studio?
No,
like Blizzard's a logo you've never seen before.
I've seen it in my Twitter feed. I think when they do bad things. I think when the company does bad things, I see Blizzard.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. They ain't squeaky clean. Few are. No one's getting out of this industry well. No, video games are not doing great. And don't get any company where more than $1 million is moved is not terrific with labor practices, but the video game industry has been particularly abysmal of late.
That's true.
Forever, but noticeable and more spoken of late.
I just feel so out of my depth when we do video game stuff. I like doing it. Like, I love Mortal Kombat and all that stuff, and like this was even a fine movie, whatever. But like, it's the only time I'm like, oh, this is what my mom feels like when I talk about comics. I'm like, I just know what I saw.
Right.
I don't know anything else.
Right.
I just know this surface level stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're very detached from that world.
Yeah, I'm not part of that world. I'm a little mermaid, and I'm like, I'm not up there in the air.
And this is one similar to when we did Monster Hunter last month, where I'm not fully in that world. I'm in the video game world, but this is not one of them. I played this for a hot month when the vanilla first version of this came out in like 2001, early.
So you're kind of an OG Warcraft.
No, I'm not. For 1 month, that's not enough to be anything.
Is Warcraft what most people had LAN parties for?
Mm-mm.
No, that's not what LAN parties were?
No.
Okay.
No. LAN parties would more be like multiplayer shoot 'em up stuff. Like I had LAN parties for like Unreal Tournament, or like Halo would be one. Like, like more shooty ones.
Okay.
You really need an internet connection. You got to be online for World of Warcraft.
Okay. Having
people in the room, it doesn't hurt, but it doesn't really add anything.
Excellent.
I don't think.
Good to know. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then my thoughts are wrong.
Fair.
What I thought Warcraft was.
And since you need an internet connection, you would need some beefy fucking tubes back in the day. If you had multiple people in the same household all trying to play World of Warcraft, you need some beefy tubes.
At one point, so all right.
Yeah.
I guess my tubes are beefy.
You must have had those beefy tubes. And before we get into the episode and talk about Warcraft, we want to thank our first wonderful sponsor of today's episode. It is tpublic.com.
tpublic.com is something I do know a lot about.
Mm-hmm.
I know they have great designs made by indie artists who are getting a fair commission for their work, and also that I really like their clothes and the designs on the clothes.
But what if I don't need a t-shirt?
Well, then you can get a hoodie, or you can get a laptop case, or a phone case, or a sticker, and you can put that on your face. Or a mask for your face maybe would make more sense. You're going to need at least one of the things I just listed.
Can I get different colors and sizes?
You can get all the different colors and sizes. There's red, there's blue, there's purple, there's yellow, there's like V-necks, there's regular necks, there's like pulled in waist, there's racerback tank tops.
You never said the color green. Do they have green?
They have green.
That's my shit.
They have several shades of some of those colors.
Yeah, that's true. They have a lot of selection.
A lot of options.
Yeah, they really are super customizable and really great stuff. And you want it to be customizable because with all of these independent artist designs, you're getting custom work, and you also want it to be custom to your style and taste. Like some of the art that's submitted by independent artists, one that I am liking this week, it is Moon Retro is the name of the shirt, and it is a Moon Knight shirt, but it's Moon Knight in the style of like Batman 66. So like Moon Knight's got the cape fully sprawled out and it says Moon Knight across it, but the lettering is a little spookier because it's Moon Knight. But yeah, Moon Knight, a show is being made. Oscar Isaac put out some training videos there earlier this week.
Guys, if you haven't looked up the Oscar Isaac training videos, he's going all in.
I also very much like the Moon Knight comic, so I'm fully on board for Moon Knight right now, and this is a fun little like Moon Knight Batman mashup. I'm digging it. Moon Retro, that's what I'm into this week.
You know I love a mashup. Mine's also a mashup. I got a Mortal Kombat shirt because Mortal Kombat's coming out. Mine is called the Thunder t-shirt, and it is the Iron Maiden album cover, but it says Iron Raiden, and it's Raiden on the cover.
Classic.
Raiden
gonna get you.
They go together. Raiden. Look at this brilliant stuff.
He shoots the lightning, and then like he's coming at you with this just face first. He's a fast boy.
It's a fun shirt. They're great shirts. They're great designs on tpublic.com.
tpublic.com, and when you shop through our store link, you'll see the shirts that we just mentioned, as well as previous ones we've brought up on the podcast, and other ones we own, recommend, and think are cool. And by shopping through our store link, not only do you support the artist who designed that particular piece of art that you pick up, you will also directly support this podcast as well. Even if you search around the site and find something that isn't in our store, as long as you use the store link, you support the artist, you support this show, and that is tpublic.fromsuperheroes.com, public.fromsuperheroes.com. And as always, TeePublic, thank you for your support.
Thank you so much, TeePublic. Appreciate it.
And now let's get into the episode. Let's talk about Warcraft. All right, we have seen Warcraft, both of us for the first time. One of the rare double blinds on this podcast, with the exception of new shit, obviously.
Always doing science.
Yeah, it's rare for us to do science on an
the old double blind study of Warcraft.
Classic. You gotta go in double blind to be sure. So let's start off the ball rolling. Diana, did you like it?
I almost gave this movie a like. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I'm watching it, I'm like, it's like kind of bad, but it's fine. I was gonna give it a fine. It's like, oh, the CG is pretty good. Some characters are charming. The story's nonsense, but it's like not bad. I'm not bored bad. And then the last 10 minutes happened, and the movie became a bad.
Really?
The movie became a bad because of the last 10 minutes. It was a fine. Now it's a bad. So now I didn't like it because of the last 10. But I was only like barely skirting a like as it was.
Okay.
So that final grade really matters on your overall score, you guys.
Huh.
It was a pass-fail test.
Interesting.
It failed the test.
The ending really plummeted it that hard for you.
I was so upset. And yes, I was so annoyed. How dare you think so highly of yourself? I guess this isn't like a spoiler-filled one. I'm acting like there's spoilers.
Yeah, they thought they were going to do sequels or have this be a full series, and it just doesn't have an ending.
They set this up so hard for a sequel with so much confidence that I'm like, you narcissistic assholes. You ruined a movie in case you got another one. Yeah. But you got to focus on the movie you have.
Yeah.
So that was my problem with it. So I'm going to give it a not like in the end, but you almost made it, Warcraft. You almost got that like. Andrew, did you like it?
I would say that it is similar to you. It was teetering on a like the whole movie. It has one or two abysmal things. Like,
we're going to
talk about that. One or two abysmal things, and a handful of things that I think actually really work and are charming. And then everything in between, I would say, like, other than a couple abysmal things, couple of great things, and everything in between, I found myself so often thinking, why would you do that? And I don't mean that in a bad way, and I don't mean it in a good way. I mean it
just in a way?
Just in a way of being like, well, that is a really incoherent choice for you to make for your film that does not align with any of the other choices you've made for this film. So really, like, inconsistent tone and kind of all over the map. And they made choices. I'll give them that. This does not feel, I'd say the number one thing I will say about this is that it does not feel like a paint by numbers, the studio made an action movie thing. It feels like people made some fucking weird and odd choices that don't necessarily work, but I feel like there was some creative freedom throughout this.
I felt the exact opposite.
Really?
Yeah, okay. I felt there was some real, like, make sure there's a hot girl and make sure there's a cute boy and cut out this scene. You don't need it. It can only be 2 hours long because there's definitely tons of scenes missing. You can feel
there's at least an hour of this movie gone.
The pacing is atrocious, and, like, things will just jump from place to place out of nowhere. Characters in the same scene will suddenly be across a room. It's incoherently edited together to almost. So, like, that to me reeks of studio interference. Maybe not in, like, the writing process.
Yeah, fair enough.
But definitely some studios were like, no, we got check boxes, buddy.
All right. I could see what you're saying there. Maybe there is a disconnect between, like, there was some studio interference trying to cool down some of the weirder choices that were made in this movie.
But I agree that there are definitely some non-traditional action movie choices being made here.
Yeah.
I think the orcs, like, having agency and personality and not just being mindlessly evil is very different and a thing I've never seen before.
I think that is a very progressive and fun perspective on a traditional fantasy trope, which, let's face it, and I think we discussed this in our 300 episode, which is that you could, like, have a legend or a reference key for, like, racism in fantasy to be like every fantasy species, race, planet, land, or whatever is, depending on when it was written, a writer enacting some form of racist stereotype of a group of people on actual planet Earth. And this doesn't necessarily fall into that trope, or at least not in a way I can perceive upon.
Yeah, they're very fair in their depictions of this because the orcs, they need a new place to live because their place is dying, and, like, they're a war species, but really it's just their magician and our human magician are both dicks.
Yeah.
So fairness in the magician world of being dicks, and then the orcs just really have their own code. They're like a complex society who will not fight you if they don't have to.
Mm-hmm. And I think it is one of the rarely well done things for a video game movie, because I think one of the difficult things about a video game, or at least an RPG or a role playing game where you have choice and you have different options as a character, is that you can choose who you want to be. You can choose if you go to play World of Warcraft. You can choose if you want to be the Horde or the Alliance. So
you know some words.
I know some things, but you can choose who you want to be. And that's a very difficult thing, and that's true of many video games. And it's difficult things for a movie to do, because for a movie, the choice is made for you. Here's your lead character. Here's who you're rooting for. That character doesn't like the baddies. But when you start up Mortal Kombat, you could be Sub-Zero or Scorpion. You can be anything that you want. So it's nice, and I think a unique perspective to offer the two different perspectives of this. I think that's very clever.
I think it's very clever, and it's great that, like, if you like the orcs, you can root for some of the orcs at least. You can root for pretty much all the humans except the wizard guy. Everyone else is pretty squeaky clean good guy.
Yeah.
So it's nice in that way, but also even just from, like, a structural standpoint, without it being orcs, just being a war movie, I really like the idea of we're fighting this war, but then there's also internal conflict on the people we're trying to defeat, and they might align with us. It's kind of a dual-sided story I've never really seen before that I thought actually was kind of interesting.
I would say the closest to something I've seen before that is this story, and I actually mean this is a big compliment for Warcraft. At its best moments, it felt very Klingon.
Ooh, yeah.
It felt like I was watching the Federation, which for any kind of British colonialization problematic areas that the Federation have, it is a collection of people who are traveling around trying to solve a certain type of problem. And then the Klingons, there is infighting, but there's still someone that you can work with, but also war with, depending on the era that you're in. It is a complex, three-dimensional problem and solution in itself. And I really like that. And it felt Klingon at its finest.
Yeah, they still have societal rules that they follow and abide by. They're not just they're like, no, met a man in battle. Whoever's the winner gets to live. We're not just going to murder this guy because we don't like that he won. Like, they stand by the rules. Yeah, very Klingon in that way.
And I think that that's a very tough thing to sell and get your point across in a movie. Like, the Klingon of it all was tough for Star Trek to convey over the course of decades of serialized storytelling.
Oh, Klingons were weird at first.
Oh yeah. They were weird and nasty, and they got to that place though that was sincerely interesting and three-dimensional. But to accomplish that in such a compressed time frame that's not television and serialized storytelling is pretty fucking impressive.
It's pretty impressive, yeah. And but then sometimes parts of the story are weird because right off the bat, maybe I want to talk about the fact that this orc lady has a baby in a portal. And that was really weird for me. That was a really, really weird sequence.
Yeah.
And it's kind of stuck with me in a bad way.
I forgot that had happened, frankly, so it didn't stick with me, but it is weird.
I will never forget. Maybe it's a giving birth thing, which I'm like, well, could that happen to me? Hopefully not. Because, yeah, when she just pops out and now she's in labor, and then the wizard guy just kind of like puts his hand out and suddenly there's a baby. It's weird. She's on all fours. I'm like, none of this is how babies happen. I know you're an orc, but still.
It's an orc.
I didn't care for any of it.
She's an orc. Lots of mammals give standing birth.
So fast, though. Like, it wasn't like we have to make camp and boil some water. It's just like, this baby's here.
They're very strong.
Her muscles just pop
Yeah,
it
that's
out.
the thing. Humans are so weak that, like, the birthing process can take days of just pushing and just contractions, but she's just like, it's gone. Like, we're lucky it didn't come out like a bullet. There's so
it kills a man.
You just see the hole in someone's chest as they're ripped asunder, and then a baby is just scooting.
And then I feel like everyone would be really proud of the mom. They'd be like, holy shit, you guys see that?
Yeah. Well, then I think their combat strategy would just be like pointing pregnant mothers at the enemy.
Humans just invented guns in this movie.
Right.
But they have pregnant orcs.
They have pregnant orcs lined up like a trebuchet, like they're like a catapult. They're getting the angle right.
Oh, God. It's terrible.
But no, it was relatively normal birth, but on all fours after coming out of a dimensional gateway.
Yeah, it was just real abrupt. Didn't see it coming. Especially because in those first few minutes, you don't realize that they're setting themselves up to be a trilogy, which they will never make in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Not in any way. So what I thought was happening, which is how most movies that are contained would happen, is she had a baby, they held it up, and they were like, a new warrior. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to cut to 20 years later, and he's going to be the lead character. This is how, like, Lion King, like, this is how every movie that holds up a baby in the first 5 minutes then becomes, and this is the main character. And that's not what happened.
But clearly, I would say in retrospect, they were setting that up not even for the second movie. I would honestly say that the design of this story would be that child is the lead, grows up and becomes the lead character of movies 4 through 6.
No, I'd give it a 3. Because I think movie 2, you still have to be battling, and maybe you can come some kind of truce, but then there's still like evil in the world. I don't know.
2, someone's raising the baby. 3, it's maybe an adolescent, and then I say like 4, 5, 6 is the like I'm going to unite the realms.
I mean, that works in a book.
Yes, it works in a book where you've already gotten a book deal for 6 books.
I got a 6-book deal. It's going to be about this baby born in a portal because it's going to give it cool powers or something. I don't know if the portal did anything to the baby or if the magician guy did anything to the baby when he brought it back to life.
Right.
It's weird that it was the wrong color.
Yes.
So just starting the movie off with that weird energy of, oh, it's not about this baby.
But the movie even starts off with like the weirder energy of it's the dad orc doing voiceover over a random orc human battle, neither of which are characters we ever meet. And it's first person POV from the eyes of the orc. Like we don't see the orc and it's just in a desert. It honestly felt like a an idle screen, like in a video game where you don't press anything for a while and it's just like we need to play a 30-second video to fill air. I don't know why the movie opened with that. Two characters we never meet, have never seen, and aren't on the same planet yet, just fighting in a desert while the dad does VO. That was really sloppy and weird.
Yeah, that's a great point, because there are no fights in a desert in this movie. So that is a spoiler for movie 2.
Maybe that's a prophecy.
Maybe it's a prophecy of like the baby. Maybe that was going to be the baby.
We get the baby thing. So when you said Lady Orc was your problem with this movie.
Oh, I mean, there's two problems.
There's two problems. I didn't think you were going to say Lady Orc birth. I agree that that's a little weird for the teleportation portal birth of a baby who dies and is then breathed back into life using dark magics.
But is then not a main character.
It is then not a main character, and there's no time leap.
If he was a main character.
Agreed. I thought you were going to talk about fuckable orc.
Oh, I mean, well, of course we're going to talk about fuckable orc. We're gonna talk so much about the fuckable orc.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Unbearable. What is who? I am actually mad that the production wasn't shut down the first day that they saw Paula Patton, I believe Paula Patton on set as Garona, the fuckable orc.
Because the first female orc you meet is like the non-fuckable orc. Like maybe she's in your type, whatever. But
if you're into orcs.
If you're into traditional orcs, I bet she's a hottie. You get this CG like orc lady, and you're like, okay, that's what female orcs look like. And then 2 minutes later, like, oh no, but of course we need a fuckable orc. You need a hot lady orc. So it's just Paula Patton with like jungle hair, like when you find like a savage woman in a jungle stories like Lost World or something, with jungle hair, and then like the tiniest little teeth.
It is dollar store Dracula teeth just put in on the bottom instead of the top. It is so childlike and embarrassing. And she's just in like a fur bikini, like no cool battle like armor. And I get that like she is a slave at this point, which is also not a great look. But it's just like, okay, we've got fuckable bikini orc who's on spring break over here. I cannot understand. I cannot fathom that this idea struck someone, was approved, and got made.
What's so unbelievable about it is when you look at the rest of the movie. Because the rest of the movie, the costumes are like my favorite part. They're incredible.
Yeah.
The CG, for the most part, is absolutely wonderful.
Really good.
On everybody else. The other ladies have really cool outfits. The queen is like just a regular hot queen, like with like actual queen robes and stuff. And then it's like, she looks like a one-off alien from original Star Trek.
Yes.
And not even like a famous episode, like a throwaway episode of original Star Trek. They're like, oh, and this is, she's a lady orc and Kirk's gonna fuck her, of course.
Yeah. Because
as he does, he loves green ladies. So she has to still be really like, I expected James T. Kirk to show up and be like, hey.
Yeah, like
that's my girl.
Shatner using de-aging tech as a young Shatner just mid-movie fucks this woman.
I can't believe he didn't like demand that he was in this. He's like, you got a hot green lady? That's my area.
It is Star Trek original series. It is Flash Gordon. It is the most dated at best camp and at worst sexploitation. Like it is just gross in every way.
It's gross and it just doesn't fit anything else they're doing. It's so out of place. It feels like what I said earlier about studio interference. Like, she has to be hot. You can't make her an orc.
Right.
We need one hot lady in this movie, and I guess it's this orc lady. Like the studio demanded it. So they're like, I guess she's hot. And like Paula Patton is gorgeous, but like that's not what orcs look like.
I don't even want to put this on studio interference.
You want to put this on director?
Yeah, I'm putting this on director or writer because frankly, if studio executives had that complaint, which I think is a very realistic complaint that gross studio execs would have, which is, who do the kids want to fuck in this movie? And maybe there's some cute boys, and they're like, we don't have a female hottie. They would ask for rewrites that added a human female hottie. I do not imagine a scenario in which several studio executives are like, make a fuckable orc. I can't imagine a scenario where studio executives know the word orc to request a fuckable orc. This is something that, like, they're like, okay, so you make your movie with you got your humans, they got their swords, and then you got your big monsters. Is someone fuckable? And a writer had to be like, yeah, no, someone's fuckable. Don't worry about it. Someone's like, it's a writer sold someone on this.
You're selling me on this. I see what you're saying. The producers would be like, monsters are monsters and hot ladies are hot ladies. Those don't go together.
Yeah.
That's not a thing people like. I wonder if the producers just approved casting.
Right.
We've cast Paula Patton as the female lead. Like, oh, well, she's gorgeous. Excellent. Love it. And they didn't ask what her character was.
Right.
And then they were like, but she needs to be pretty. Ooh. You fools.
And what makes it stand out so much, and this is a consistent problem for this movie, I think in a lot of regards, is that I think the practical sets and the costumes that the real human actors and human characters or human adjacent characters wear are gorgeous, breathtaking, really well done. I also think that the orcs, their skin, their furs, their armors, their society, the CGI is impeccable. It's really well designed. It looks really well done. But they don't look good together. Like this brilliant human costume work and this great CGI world building, they don't work. It's like a bad Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And I think that the literal idea of this is that it is literally two worlds aligned. Like this is closer to Space Jam than World of Warcraft. Like one world is completely CG. Like the orc world is 100% CG.
There's nothing real on the orc world.
And the human world, yes, there are little things that are CG or whatever, but the human world is essentially a traditional human world, and the orc world is a fucking video game. And this should be closer to like a Space Jam, to be like, these visibly do not belong in our world. But it's weird then that Paula Patton's character, before we teleport worlds, we're on the orc world, everything's CG. It's CG trees with CG characters, CG cities, CGI world building, and then like an orc walks out and they have like huge voice modifications digitally done to make the orc sound like they're 800 feet tall and that they gargle gravel for breakfast. And an orc was like, it's time to bring the hammer down to the other orcs. And then Paula Patton walks up and is like, so we're here to bring hammers. Okay. And like you can hear her sucking saliva because the vampire teeth from the dollar store are causing the saliva to build up in her mouth. And it's so embarrassing.
Because the other actors are just in a voice booth and they don't have to actually wear the teeth because they're digital.
Yes.
And she's on set in actual teeth in her front bottom lip, just trying to be cool and sexy.
The amount of time she was trying to be sexy, and I could softly hear her, there would just be a moment of silence as like the lead male's looking at her longingly, and quietly I could just hear her go, and I could hear the retainer style too much saliva in her mouth, and it was fucking killing me inside.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't fit on the other side. She spends most of the movie with the humans, but yeah, when we meet her on the other side, it's just like, whoa, a real thing, and your eyes like kind of have to readjust, and it feels right. It's like, it's exactly Michael Jordan in Toontown, just like walking around, you're like, oh, that one guy's real, and the rest of this, she better be so good at basketball. She better be phenomenal at basketball.
Cut to the what would you change? This movie should have ended with a rousing game of basketball.
I told you it was Air Bud. Oh, now you speak briefly about the male lead gazing at her. And what's also weird about her character is not weird, but just like, I hate when movies do this. Because she's the only female in most of the movie, she's kind of everyone's love interest. It's a Black Widow scenario all over again, because she's main like Han Solo dude's love interest. The wizard boy is also into her. I say boy, but he's like 25, so he's like an adult. The wizard boy is into her. And then at the end, suddenly Dominic Cooper and her are best friends too. Yeah. So she's got this huge relationship with every male character, and they're all just like, oh, she's so great, Corona. We fucking love her. She's got these little teeth.
We love her little teeth. We're
teeth.
Bananas for it. I guess?
I guess if you're into little teeth.
Sure, I suppose.
So yeah, the movie did a real disservice by not just being like, and here's her one love interest. I hate when there's only one woman and everyone's into her.
Well, the other thing that's wild about that, too, is that also in this movie is actress Ruth Negga, who plays Lady Taria. So there is...
I love... She's so great.
Love. Phenomenally talented. An absolute treasure of an actor. Terrifically talented. Wonderful performer. Also gorgeous in every possible way. Absolutely beautiful. So you have another love interest there. And Ruth Negga, I think, because... I don't want to say because she's a better actress, because I actually don't mean any disrespect towards Paula Patton. It's hard to act when you're the only one painted in green and you're wearing Dracula teeth upside down.
Ruth Negga does not have Dracula teeth in this movie.
So she is at an advantage. But Ruth Negga immediately has so much more chemistry with everyone than the fuckable orc. That our lead male, played by Travis Fimmel, and Dune, Lothar is the character.
I think Lothar is what they mostly called him.
So Lothar is the brother of Ruth Negga's character.
This was so funny.
And they have such wild chemistry. Wild. Which is also strange because Ruth Negga is playing the queen. And the king, her husband, is Dominic
Cooper.
Dominic Cooper,
her actual husband.
At the time, or boyfriend or whatever. They were an actual couple. But she has so much chemistry with this lead man who's playing her brother. Every time they're in a room together, they've written a scene where the brother has to be like, I don't fuck her, by the way. She's my sister. She's my sister.
They mention so many times that he is her sister. And like they don't have like long engagements where you think they've fucked. But they have very like, but it's not a familial energy either.
Oh no, I disagree. I think they fucked.
Oh no.
I think one of the deleted plot lines of this is a Game of Thrones thing.
Oh, I'm okay with that one being gone.
Because literally, it's not just that he brings up that they're brother-sister a lot. It's that other characters are like, you two are a hot couple.
The fuckable orc said it.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, your mate there is protecting you. And the queen turns around and is like, oh, that's my brother. So like, no, of course not.
And then other humans bring it up as well in other scenes to be like, oh, you two really got chemistry. And he's like, no, she's my sister. We definitely don't fuck. And then not only says that, but has to follow it up with, not only is she my sister, but she's married to the king. That guy over there.
Aren't they a cute couple?
So it wouldn't even be possible, even if she were single, maybe. But no, she definitely is with the king. There's a way too much protesting to anyone implying they're a couple.
You know what? I actually can see that because this is a PG-13 movie, I assume. I think. And then, because near the end, it felt a little R. And I was like, ooh, did you want to be R? Because the final fights are a little bit violent to the point where I'm like, I think you toned back an R. So I could see that plot line in an R. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they say it a lot.
I think that there's a deleted storyline that our lead character fucks his sister.
Oh, man. Take that, Game of Thrones. Maybe they removed it because of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, they were like, it's been done.
This was 5 years ago. I don't know if Game of Thrones had just gotten to that point of the thrones.
Right. No, I mean, Game of Thrones, that right is off episode one. That is literally episode one.
That's the inciting incident of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones wasted no time at all. Well, let's take a break in the podcast to thank our other wonderful sponsor of today's episode. It is our fantastic friends over at Care Of.
Oh, Care Of, my new best friends. Texting them all the time. We're real close. I adore Care Of.
Legitimately new best friends. No fluff, no lie. I love Care of.
Like we might be too attached.
I really like Care of's products.
I am adoring this.
Listen to the candor in my voice. I really love Care of's products.
And by the way, it's vitamins.
It's vitamins. And proteins.
Oh,
as
yes,
well.
you get the proteins.
Yeah.
I only get the vitamins, but Andrew gets the proteins.
I also get the proteins. They make products that are formulated with good for you, clean ingredients that are backed by science. They get recommendations for you, and they come in these daily individually wrapped packets that are perfect for getting back into or starting a routine. So like you go to their website, you take an online quiz. We love a quiz.
Love a quiz. It's a fun quiz too.
And
it's short, but it's like, oh, you're getting me.
It gets everything that it needs from a short thing while still being engaging. And then it's like, here's the vitamins that you need, and very reasonable stuff. Like I'm vegetarian, so it was like, you need some B12. And I was like, what is that? And they're like, okay, you really needed our help. And they didn't say that, but it was between the lines where I'm like, I do need help. Please help.
Yeah, they give you a breakdown of why they're recommending each vitamin to you, and you can remove them or add anything that you want to add. We also got vitamin D recommended because we're in Canada. We don't get enough sunlight.
It is so brilliant. The fact that they explain it to you as well with very clear instructions. Like there are a lot of vitamins that I never really understood what they were for, what they do. But what I liked about this is that it really felt personalized and catered to me. And it also felt educational, and I understood what was going into my body a lot more, which is super important. And it allowed me to change or customize it as well in case there was anything that was misread or misunderstood during the process of this quiz.
Yeah, and I also really liked at the very beginning of the quiz, they ask you what your goals are. So is it fitness? Do you want to get better sleep? Do you want to have a better digestive system? Do you want to have more mental acuity? Like, what are your goals in taking these vitamins? And that I really loved, because there was definitely a few things on there like, no, I sleep really good, so I don't need that and this and this, but I want to focus on this. So it really is incredibly personalized vitamins. You're not getting anything you don't need as long as you're not lying on your quiz.
Yeah. And here's how personalized it is. One of the things that I love about it is that it comes in you get like a 30-day amount, and it comes in daily packages. So instead of being like, oh, you need B12 or whatever, and here's a bucket of B12 pills, go fish.
And here's another bucket of vitamin D, and you got to open up each one every day. No.
You got to figure it out, or you got to get one of those little organizers to organize all your pills. Instead, it's just this neat little individually wrapped, here's your 1 day good to go package. You take that, you're set. And if you're on the go or busy, just being able to like grab that and toss it in a bag or something like that is so convenient and smooth.
Also, this is how individualized it is. Our names are on each packet.
Yeah.
And that feels so special. Like, okay, so you didn't just have this sitting in a warehouse. You really did say, these are Diana's pills. Put them in these packets that say Diana on them. And
we don't get each other's mixed up in the house, which is really handy as well. The other thing that I love is the protein powder that it comes with. I've been taking protein powder for a while. It's fantastic. It mixes smoother. It tastes way better. And also, I don't toot as much with this one. So that's just if you take protein powder, you know what I'm talking about. It makes you tooty. This did not make me as tooty.
We're telling you about how Care of is our best friend, and we're giving you all the inside information. Here's some Diana inside information. I have been prescribed iron pills my entire life. I have very low iron. And I say I've been prescribed and not taking because iron pills mess me up. They make my stomach real sick. They give me bad indigestion, bad digestive stuff. I've tried, I think, 4 to 5 different brands of iron pills.
You've tried some options.
Always bad. I've tried taking half an iron pill. Always bad. I've been taking Care of's iron pills for 2 months. I feel incredible. Not a single upset stomach, not a single digestive problem. My energy levels are up. This is a game-changing iron pill if you need an iron pill. I can't speak to the other vitamins. Like, they're all good so far, but I didn't take them before.
Right.
But this iron pill... Oh my God.
Iron pills are ones that you've tried, you've struggled with, it has not worked out well. This worked out really well.
I have 2 half-empty bottles of other iron pills in my cupboard that I just couldn't finish because they were making me feel too ill.
Yeah, you are literally like, you're happier, you are more energetic. It is made such a huge and positive difference.
So you can get iron that doesn't make you sick. You can maybe not toot.
Maybe
lots of good stuff.
Toot less.
Everybody
toots.
All right, well, toot less.
Everybody toots. Let's be real about this.
Reasonable goals.
A reasonable amount of toots.
Reasonable goals. Less toots.
A healthy amount of iron and a reasonable amount of toots. I think Care of is setting us up with everything that we need. And if you want to try their products, which I do highly recommend, what you're going to want to do is check out their special offer for our listeners, which is 50% off your first Care of order just by going to takecareof.com and using the promo code TFS50. So once again, go to takecareof.com and enter promo code TFS50. You get 50% off your first Care of order. And thank you, Care of, for the support and for your wonderful products.
Love them.
Really do. And now let's get back into Warcraft and some of the other bananas things we were discussing a moment ago about feeling like some storylines were deleted. And we disagree on the brother and the queen.
No, you've turned me.
All right. I don't know if I should feel proud about that.
They fucked.
But what were some of the other storylines that you think were deleted?
Well, I mean, not to focus too much on Sexy Orc, but pretty sure the Guardian was her dad.
Pretty sure Ben Foster's character, the main wizard, was her dad.
So she is a halfling of some kind.
Yeah.
Because on the other side, they're like, you halfling, you're half orc. But they don't say what else she is. They never, and she doesn't seem to know, but she also doesn't seem to question what she is. She's not like, I don't know what I am. She's just like, I'm not an orc. I'm not a full orc. And then they don't know how the bad energy got to the orc side. So then like halfway through the movie, we find out that the wizard human guy, Ben Foster, traveled somewhere. And he's like, oh, and I met a female. And
he traveled to the end of their world.
The end of their world. And he didn't say woman. He said female, which I'm like, so it's an orc. Like, I don't know why that distinction makes sense, but you definitely had sex with an orc lady in orc world. And this is your daughter.
And this is in a dialogue where he's talking to fuckable orc.
Yes.
And he's telling her how much she reminds him of himself.
Yes.
So that is very much a like, you're my daughter. You remind me of me because you are me.
And then he like teleports her away and makes her like a flower made of magic. And he says, this is to remember me by. And like, it's very familial, like very fatherly, paternal, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's, and also, hints of this stuff. There is an actor credited as young Ben Foster, but there's never any scenes with a young Ben Foster. Yeah. So there was like scenes where he did stuff as a younger man, but they cut them.
I'm thinking it was he went to the end of the, air quote, the end of the earth or wherever that might be, found this portal to the orc world and activated it. And that is what corrupted him.
Oh, yes, for sure.
And went over there and fell in love or whatever, but, decided to be corrupted for the sake of love or something like that.
Yeah, or he was just corrupted accidentally. Like he didn't realize the magic over there was bad. Had that bad magic and he brought it back. It's like when you go to the moon, you bring Venom back to Earth. And you're like, oh, I didn't mean to bring Venom back to Earth.
But you did though, didn't you?
But now you're Venom.
But you did.
So he's just Mega Venom, basically. Yeah. He's definitely her dad and then it's just never touched upon.
And then he has another deleted story, clearly another deleted storyline as well.
Oh, yes. But also, one last thing about him being the dad. Hilarious. He is 5 years younger than Paula Patton. As a human being. And I would say sometimes like wizards don't age, like they're kind of immortal, but you have to have reached oldness for me to believe you've stopped aging. Like you can't be like, I'm 30 and I stopped aging.
Fair enough. Now, I think to give the film and maybe casting credit here, the actor Ben Foster does look older than Paula Patton despite being 5 years younger.
He does. He doesn't look dad older.
He does look like he's lived a life.
I think Ben Foster has.
And I don't mean this is disrespect or shade, but like he's lived a normal life. He's seen some sun. He's aged up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but still 5 years younger than her.
Yeah.
Insulting.
And maybe her dad, Probably her dad. And then there's the other storyline of the fact that clearly at some point he was given a prophecy that this young hotshot mage or wandering mage school dropout was going to become the new Guardian.
Yeah, this was mentioned as frequently as this is my brother, I didn't fuck him. Like every time he talks about this kid, he's like, well, I'm the Guardian. looks at the kid for now. Like, he's got some prophecy that this kid will kill him or will replace him, but it's never mentioned if it is. But all the clues are still there.
And weirdly, the kid has no questions about it. Like, the first scene that they meet, he's like, I'm the guardian, not you, not yet. And the kid's just like, so where do you keep your... Like, the kid doesn't address the fact that he just got, like, a weird prophetic threat from this guy.
Yeah, it's like if you went to like a meet and greet and you met Bill Gates and Bill Gates was like, you don't own Microsoft. Not yet. And I'd be like, yeah, okay, cool. Is the tour still happening?
Did someone say I was gonna? And Bill won't stop bringing it up.
No, it's just, and you're like, you're Bill Gates,
to be
right?
Like, your time hasn't come to lead Microsoft yet. And be like, you don't even lead it anymore, Bill. It's actually, you've stepped down. But it's still not you. Not while I'm on this earth. And what does that mean,
and
Bill?
And you're just here for a tour. You're just here to like look around the offices.
Clearly, it comes up so consistently that the Guardian is threatened by this young mage and worried that this young mage is going to become the new Guardian, despite no one else having brought this up in any regard. It's some kind of there was a prophecy storyline. And I think that it's some kind of like, they're going for like a witch Macbeth, like witches talking to Macbeth thing, where it's like someone told the Guardian, oh, there's going to be a young mage who drops out of school, the uneducated wandering mage who can never return home, who will discover the portal, and that will be your downfall, and he'll become the new Guardian. So clearly the Guardian's very insecure to be like, oh no, you being here means that I'm at the end of my days, but I'm trying to fight that. But that's all implied. There's still just a bunch of scenes missing.
There's nothing about a prophecy, so it feels like, because for a while, for a bit of it, I was like, oh, maybe just like nobody has magic in this world. So if a kid shows up with magic, he's probably the next Guardian.
Oh, okay.
Like anyone, like so rare that anyone has magic. This kid must be the next Guardian. But then like 3/4 of the way through the movie, he goes to the flying magic city full of magicians who magic. So I'm like, oh, so a bunch of people have magic. So this isn't just like you're very, very special. There's a whole city of these fucks just magicking around with their glowy eyes.
With so glowy.
Too glowy. You gotta tone those eyes down.
Like, they look a little high, like they're kind of spaced out, and just like the eyes don't move, I feel like is the biggest problem.
It doesn't give an impression of wisdom or power. It just kind of made them look like robots.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
So so the prophecy, there was no prophecy, but the implication of the prophecy didn't work at all.
The implication didn't work, but it's there.
But it's there. But I will say probably like Magic Boy and Lothar or whatever the main knight was were probably my favorite parts of the movie.
Magic Boy.
Yes.
Not the Guardian.
Not the Guardian. The Guardian was all right. I like Ben Foster, but like I think his storyline got so chopped up. Like I think there is a compelling story in there where he like went and fell in love and the love corrupted him, and then he kind of like reverse Ancient One. Like it feels like it wanted to be the Ancient One story, which I like in Doctor Strange, of how she's like, she knows he's replacing him, but she's willing to let go and let it happen. So I kind of think they wanted, it's like that story can be very compelling, but I think his story got too chopped up for me to care.
I think I can see that, where it was definitely not necessarily a compelling character, but I just really like Ben Foster, and he always, no matter how good or bad the project, makes a decision and goes for it. Ben Foster is someone who I consider where, like, it's Ben Foster and Paul Giamatti are two people where I'm like, they showed up on set day one, having made a wild decision that no one will be able to talk them out of, but they are operating at 100% every minute of every day for some weird character decision that they've made.
I agree. I will throw Vincent D'Onofrio in there as well.
Ooh, D'Onofrio's definitely one of them.
D'Onofrio's in there as well. But yeah, they'll make a choice and they'll commit to it and they will be that character.
Yeah, even if by like halfway through the shoot you realize like, oh, this is not going to be a good thing. Everyone else is really playing it cash. He's still the conflicted wizard guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, but more than Ben Foster, I actually think I've never seen him in anything. Travis Fimmel, who plays Lothar, I thought was wonderful. Very Han Solo-esque. Like he was had real good chemistry with too many people, maybe.
Yeah.
He was the only one with chemistry. He was the only one who could land any humor, but also his fight scenes were really good. I believed him as not a reluctant hero, but just kind of like an over-it hero.
Yeah, an over-it hero, kind of like a lovable dick. Like he was kind of dickish, but at the same time, you're also like, oh, you, like the whole time, and I like that.
If Han Solo and Luke were one person.
Ooh, a little bit.
if they were both boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was great.
And I do think that the main orc, Durotan, played by Toby Kebbell, apparently.
Yeah, Dr. Doom and Fan Forster.
Oh, right. Yeah, Dr. Doom from
his IMDb photo is terrible. It doesn't show his face.
Yeah. But I think he did a really good job. I think there actually was like a lot of heart and charm to this, like, our people have lost our way. I need to guide them back at, even if it means losing myself, character. I think he does a really good job of it.
Yeah, he did a really good job. And, like, they gave him nice levels of, like, having his wife and child come through the portal with him to, like, really make him very familial, but, like, grounded. Like, he felt real. Yeah. He didn't feel just, like, a CG character that you don't care about. Like, he had weight in CG, and he also had weight in, like, character. Mm. Yeah, so he did a great job, and they did a good job of building that character up as well.
Yeah, great family relationship, great relationship with like his second in command who betrays him and then comes back.
Unbetrays him. Ooh, complicated.
Real three-dimensional characters in society that they've built.
But then you get to the end where the movie fails, because he like does this huge sacrifice play to show that the main orc is like bad because he won't adhere to their rules and laws, and he cheats to win the fight. But then the orcs don't even turn on him. They just go into battle, and this poor guy dies for no reason whatsoever.
Other than to just get his character out of the way, I guess.
So his son can come in 3 or 4 movies.
Woof.
Yeah, this guy dies for no reason. They do not turn on the bad guy.
And it's so weird because they're building to the turn. And it has all of the beats.
It has perfect beats.
The main orc dies. The second in command who betrayed him, who's come back around now, is the one being like, we've lost our way. Everyone's like, it's turning into like a slow clap moment where everyone's like, fuck, yes, this dude was the dude. And then there's a mild explosion. And it does feel oddly real.
You lose your momentum fast.
You lose them. There's a small explosion, and everyone's like, panic! And they just immediately start panicking, and they all fall in line for like, get behind the strong one! And now the evil wizard orc is in charge again. But they were following the rhythm, though.
They were following the exact rhythm this movie. And you know, it would have been beat by beat, but that's how these movies work. Like, that's why it's satisfying at the end. You're like, oh, he sacrificed himself, and then his people, like, found a new home, and, like, they made peace with the humans, and it was all worth it. It's not a movie that's, like, delving into the moral grayness of sacrificing yourself for no reason. Like, it's not like, oh, no, it was pointless. That's not what the movie's saying either. It's just not saying anything. Because then, like, it almost happens again, because the human guy fights the big villain, and then he kills him, and then evil orc is like, kill that guy, and then again they're like, no, our laws say you can't kill that guy, you're breaking the rules, evil orc, and they still don't turn on him. So twice he's like breaking the rules, and these orcs are just so short-minded. They have no memory for betrayal.
Everyone other than like the 3 orcs that we've met are just a mindless mob. And that really undermines, if you're trying to give these characters, the orcs, agency and power and a society and families and this level of like right and wrong and moral altruism and environmentalism, to be like, we're the ones we're the ones destroying the planets by overmining resources out of it. You understand that, right? Be like, oh shit, like this is actually a metaphor for industrialization, much like some of Tolkien's work. Like this is...
You're destroying everything you come across, and you're going to run out of places eventually.
Yeah, you're looking for new places because you destroyed the place, but you destroyed the place because you're looking for new places, and it's going to be this and they understand that, except when they don't conveniently.
Now,
/inconveniently.
I will say, I think they don't quite explain it, but I think they wanted to go for there's flesh tone orcs and there's green orcs. Like there's like kind of more human-y looking ones and there's green ones. And I think the green ones are like kind of corrupted by the magic though. Because the magic is green.
Yeah.
And then at one point the wizard guy like attacks the orcs, but his magic only kills the green ones.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they're kind of already influenced by the evil green one.
The green ones, yeah, but then they're the gray ones.
The gray ones, yeah, there was no reason for it. But the gray ones were the ones who like tried to start the riot, but they'd all been kind of killed earlier in the movie. They did get slaughtered because they were rebelling.
All right.
So maybe I think they didn't make it clear. Again, so many scenes chopped out.
Right.
But yeah, so the grayer ones I think were supposed to be kind of unaffected by the magic. Because their kid turned green when the evil orc like saved its life.
Like breathed life back into
So he's
him.
doing something to some of these orcs.
Definitely. Definitely.
So it might explain why it's kind of mindless.
Now, what I think is weird about that ending and why the ending is such trash in so many regards is that yes, the main orc Durotan makes the sacrifice play and it goes nowhere. But the ending is a series of sacrifice plays that go nowhere.
Yes.
Almost every character that we meet makes a sacrifice play. The king, played by Dominic Cooper, does the sacrifice play of like, kill me so that dude won't kill me.
Yes.
Because if that dude kills me, the evil wizard orc kills me, then everyone will be like, oh, he's definitely our leader. So you kill me and then he's not the leader. And then fuckable orc kills the king. And it's like, look, he's not the leader now. And everyone's like, we don't really care.
He's still the leader, but like we might listen if you talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the king makes a sacrifice play that doesn't really go anywhere or do anything. Fuckable orc makes a sacrifice play by killing the king, and now no humans are going to trust her ever because she killed the lovable king.
She did kill the lovable king.
And then the lead orc made that sacrifice play that went nowhere and made no change. And then also the human wizard, the guardian, made the sacrifice play of like, oh, now I'm going to die and I'm going to open up the thing to get a few humans back. Oh, no, I actually died. I didn't actually stop the orcs. He didn't send... He used his ability to make the biggest portal in the known realms to get a few humans 500 feet away instead of sending orcs back to their own planet. So he did nothing. They all make a pointless sacrifice play.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it feels like episode 2 of a trilogy. Like, or movie 2. Like, in movie 1, we won. And then now it's movie 2, and everything's bleak, and we've all lost everything. Like, none of our plans worked. But that's not how you end a movie 1.
No.
You don't end a movie 1 with the king is dead. Also, my son died halfway through the movie. We don't trust the only female fuckable orc. Like the
main orc is dead. The main orc's wife is dead.
The son's alive, but doesn't know anything about his parents. He's 2 days old.
Yeah.
He will not remember a thing about any of them. Yeah, it's really just Green Orc is still in power. He just doesn't have a portal anymore.
Yeah, but they're already on human Earth or whatever.
Yeah, there's still some orcs waiting to come through, but there's still a lot of orcs left.
Right.
Yeah, so it's really, it's a terrible ending. It's an ending that is so arrogant about getting a sequel that I despised it. It had no resolution.
None in any way.
And you could easily have resolution. Like, have the war end, have the good orc, like, make the betrayals happen, and they live together in peace. And then in the next movie, there's, like, a new evil. I don't know.
A retreat. Like, a literal stalemate with nothing would have been more interesting.
Yeah.
No sacrifice plays. They open the gate, but it's blue. The humans fall back. Fuck, this didn't work. We're going to war with the orcs. Get the elves and dwarves. We gotta unite everybody now.
Yeah, like, set yourself up for a bigger one, but you need a satisfying resolution, which this did not have. Now,
Woof.
Warcraft.
What an ending. The other thing that I found very funny that I want to bring up, which is just a quick thing that the movie did and then just gave up on so fast. When the movie started, we were visiting these locales, these different locations on human Earth.
Yes. So fast.
So very, very quickly. And it would come up on the screen the name of the place. Obviously, are presumably the names of places from the video game. So
I started writing them down.
Oh, okay.
So the first place we went was Ironforge.
Okay.
That was the dwarves.
Yeah.
And then we went to Stormwind.
Yeah.
And then I think the point you were about to make is they never did it again.
They did 2 beats of it, and then the movie like just trailed off. They just mumbled. So it was just like, and it did a very typical fantasy / sci-fi or high fantasy thing where it's just like, here's the Iron Forge, and now we go over to Stormwind, and this other one, and then the other place.
They're kind of all the same.
This one has the towers, and then
there's a lot of stairs.
This is the one with the stairs.
This one can fly, but we're still not going to put a title on it.
The fact that they stopped putting up the names of the places is the funniest shit to me.
Because they were going to brand new places.
Yeah.
Like when that kid goes to the Flying City, and I'm like, oh, what's this one called? Where's the title card of the Flying City?
Hey, you got Ironforge, you got Stormwind. Then make up your own names as an audience. There's the flying place. There's the forest place. There's the place with the real big tower, lots of stairs. I call it stairs, stairs, stairs.
I call it could use an elevator.
The gall.
It felt like they forgot. It didn't feel purposeful because they would still do a big like panoramic shot before you entered each of these places. Like the big flying city, they were like, look at this city. It's in the air. Can you believe that? But you have to guess what it's called.
What would you call it?
What do you think this is? I'm like, Blimp Town. I don't know.
They're like, all right, it's Blimp Town. You're right.
Excellent. I did it. Yeah, it felt like for those parts, it felt like reading a fantasy book and I'm supposed to flip back to the map. Like I'm supposed to go to the front page and be like, where are we on the map right now? Oh, we're at Blimp City.
Blimp City, USA.
Yeah, I agree. They completely gave up on naming these places.
I was trying to think of a positive because for the most part, like we're dunking on it pretty hard. It's pretty pleasant. Like the action's okay. We mentioned earlier, like costumes look great. CGI looks great.
I was in love with these costumes.
You really were. You were smitten, I would say.
I was very smitten. The humans especially. Like I've never seen armor before that I thought could really take a hit.
Yeah. Like you wouldn't want to get hit by an orc, but you could 50-50 survive a hit from an orc.
Like
with
even
this.
like a hit with an axe, I think you like it would take it. Like yeah, but it still looks movable. Like I believe you can still move in it. I was very smitten with the armor and the clothes. But yeah, anyway, you had your positive.
Oh, I was gonna say one of the positives was I really liked the trap fight scene, the one like in the valley with the cliffs on either side. I thought that was a really well choreographed fight scene, especially for like actual human actors versus CGI characters, which can sometimes be a little weightless and hard to do. But there was just a great landscape of it, a great geography of it, a trap, a double cross. It was well set up in terms of its writing as well, to be like, this is the meeting point. The orcs coming out of the dirt on the ground to showcase that it's a trap. The wizard standing above them, raining lightning down. It was just really well laid out, I think, in every regard. And that was actually the pinnacle of action and I think story in the movie for me. Story being when Lothar had to watch his son die because they got trapped on the wrong side of a lightning spell. That actually was like a good emotional crest. And if the movie ended there, it would have been more satisfying as like a dark ending. Yeah. I liked that scene a lot.
I'm very conflicted because I agree with you on all those points. And at the same time, I just want to dunk on the scene because I'm like, it is cool that they were waiting under the ground. I did like the lightning spell that separates them. I think in a better movie, that would have been a tear-jerking scene. Like of like him just watching his son get killed because he's on the wrong side of a force field and him like trying to break through the whole time and he just can't get through the force field. I wasn't very connected to these characters, but like on paper, incredible. Like could definitely have been a real tearjerker. But I just want to be like, all those orcs were hiding under the ground. They're like 800 pounds. There was like 100 of them.
They dig real good?
There was way more than I thought there were going to be when they started showing up. I'm like, oh, there's going to be like 4.
Right.
Because it's a pretty narrow path. So the fact that there was like 100 of them under there.
They dig real good.
I guess they dig real good. But yeah, a really great choreography of a scene. Like the trap explodes and you're like, oh shit. They're like, you can feel that there's a lot of tension and like kind of claustrophobic because of the walls. And then you're like, what's the wizard even going to do? Like how are you going to help? And the wall
lightning
goes up.
wall spell felt very video game and D&D, but I was super into that. I also really liked when the father Lothar is trapped on the wrong side of the lightning wall and he's seeing that his son is about to die. He picks up one of the orc's shields, which is giant, and the orc's shield is like designed like a skull, or it might have even been made of a skull of like an alien creature or like some kind of a giant creature.
Yeah, like an elephant or something.
Yeah. So it has these eye socket holes on the skull. So Lothar's ramming this shield, this skull shield, into the lightning. And we get this POV shot from Lothar's perspective, looking through the eye holes of the shield, seeing the lightning kind of crackle through, watching his son lose this fight. And just this idea of like giving him the shield, putting him behind it, and getting this obstructed view, but still a clear view at the same time. It was a really smart way of like, this character is not giving up, but we still need to convey that in a way where like this whole scene's visible to everyone involved, including the audience. And I just thought that was very well shot, with a great prop, with like great writing and motivation, and everything really flowed into a crest really well.
Yeah, a really great reason to put yourself in the POV of the character who they want you to feel for. Like, we want you to feel for this man who's watching his son die. So we've came up with this really cool visual thing of looking through the shield. So you are literally watching kind of your own son die in that moment because you are Lothar for just a minute. Yeah, very well constructed scene. Yeah, I got a dunk on the fact that they can't all fit in that ground. But other than that, incredible. A really, really well done scene.
Does the movie ever mention who the mother is?
She died in childbirth.
Oh, okay. He tells fuckable orc that.
He tells fuckable orc that, yeah.
Okay.
I'm single. I definitely don't fuck my sister. My wife died in childbirth.
My wife died in childbirth. It isn't my sister from a long ago.
She's still alive.
Yeah, my sister's definitely not the mother of this child. Maybe Game of Thrones-y stuff.
Deleted scenes.
It is a crime what they did with Paula Patton in this movie.
Because she's great. She's a very good actress.
I just watched Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol the other day, and I'm like, Paula Patton fucking slaps. She is great in that movie.
It's like a perfect movie.
It is a perfect movie, and she's terrific in it. And then,
It gets a little bit better as it goes, because as each scene she gets another piece of clothing.
Yeah.
Like at first she's got nothing on and she's in a CG world and it's bad. And then she gets to as soon as she gets captured, she's in prison. They're like, we're going to give you some more clothes because you're naked. And then they give her armor because they're asking her to go into battle. And then she actually looks kind of cool. But for a while it's awful. And then it gets to just kind of bad.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, I'll be interested to see if they fix it up in the next 8 movies that they're clearly going to make.
Hey, maybe we can release the director's cut. There was another hour of footage. You'd think he had some sway. The director is David Bowie's son. Just a fun fact I want to throw out there.
Really fun fact. We didn't know that until we looked it up. Doesn't go by the last name Bowie, just out there cranking out movies. Is David Bowie's child.
It's David Bowie's son.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get that second and third movie, though.
I'm not feeling it. I wouldn't be surprised if they did another Warcraft reboot movie. Because Warcraft, I think, is still pretty big.
Yeah, it's still out there. It's still doing stuff.
Warcraft,
People
right?
still playing it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they made another unrelated Warcraft movie, much as they are doing with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I could see that happening someday.
Someday.
I think there'll be stages. There'll be phases.
You need a little wait time.
Yeah, even Mortal Kombat had to build into it, where it was we had one banger, but mixed feelings movie, then one disliked movie, then we let it rest, then some people funded a web series that kind of brought some heat back, then we made it back. We might need to follow the same trajectory. I think that's it for Warcraft, except for the final question. So let's go in for the close and ask the final question of what would you change? So now that we've discussed everything we've discussed, what would you change about this movie if you could change anything? But before we ask that final question, we'll remind you, as we do every week, don't you hit that 15-second, do not hit that 15-second forward button.
Nope.
Unless you've already done this, in which case you're cool.
You're cool.
Just subscribe, follow, rate, review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, it really helps us out. Checks out the algorithms. Apple's like, oh, people like this. Well, maybe more people will like it. And then we like that. Yeah. It's likes all around.
There's a reason every podcast tells you to do this, because it is free, it is simple, it is easy, and it's not for vanity. It is a reason.
It's a little bit for vanity.
I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt. We read the reviews, and it raises our self-esteem. But it is the number one way that we find new audience. It's basically that, or when you share this online and tell a friend about it. Share it on Twitter or whatever social media you use. That, following, subscribing, rating, reviewing, those are the ways you support the podcast for free.
Really helps us out, and we appreciate it very much.
We really do. And if you want to support the podcast monetarily and get cool bonuses for doing so, you can check out our Patreon. It's a monthly subscription service or a yearly subscription service if you would now prefer that option.
I was going to say if you're nasty, but
if you're nasty,
I don't know why you would be nasty about that.
If that sounds nice, if you like being called nasty, you nasty.
Oh, you're nasty then.
You old nasty plate of soup.
Oh, no.
We'll see. But check out Patreon. It's a monthly subscription service. You can kick into this network as much as you can afford. You can do $1 a month, 5, 10, whatever you can afford. You can also do it yearly, so you can subscribe at the yearly level. When you do yearly, you get a month free. And when you do these, you can also cancel or change before your next subscription renewal, so you're not locked in. You're just locked in for the month or the year, whichever you chose. And then you can change it at the end of it to a different level if your finances have changed and stuff like that. And you get cool bonuses at every single level. Like at the $1 level, you get our webcomic a day early.
You get it, and sometimes even 2 or 3 days early, depending on when I Photoshop it. You get it early.
You get it early. You get it early. Literally hot off the press. Diana's finished. She sends it right out.
I hit export, send it to Patreon.
It's right to the Patreon. And
it's hot.
It's hot. And then at the $10 level, you get a bonus episode of this podcast every single month at the $10 monthly level, the hero level we call it. And you also get immediate access to the full back catalog. So we are talking 50-plus episodes, many hours of content ready to go. The second that you sign up at the hero level, you also get a cool, carefully chosen nickname from Diana when you're a hero level patron.
It's carefully cultivated.
It's very nice.
Lots of algorithms.
Check it out over on patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. Have a look, check out the different levels, see what you might have in the budget. Even if it's literally $1, those add up, make a huge difference. They keep the lights on, they keep the network running. It pays all the bills. We appreciate you. So patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. That's patreon.com/fromsuperheroes. And now, let's go in for the close. Let's ask the final question of what would you change? Diana, what would you change?
The ending. Pretty much all of it. So we're gonna have main orc guy. He can still do the sacrifice play, but it's gonna work. The orcs are gonna turn on him. But then like the spell works on the green orcs, and the green orcs are still gonna be evil. So we're gonna have some good orcs who are gonna like be our allies, and then we're gonna have evil green orcs who are under a brainwash spell. But then the game changer? The elves, dwarves, and wizards show up to help. Because where the fuck are these guys?
They were saving them for the second, third, and fourth, and fifth, and sixth movies.
I guess they were, but they showed like that they had council meetings. They're called the Alliance. We met the elves, we met the dwarves, we met the wizards, and these humans are just left out to dry in this war to save the entire world. So I'm furious. I'm going to treat it as one film. The elves show up, the dwarves show up, the wizards show up. It's the end of Endgame all over again. All the races versus these evil green orcs, but then like some good orcs, because orcs aren't just one guy. They have agency and complicated characters. And then we win the battle that way. And then I think we like make an alliance with the gray ones, and we bring the gray ones over because their world is still dead.
Right.
So I think we make peace. We don't have Warcraft anymore. We have Peacecraft.
Ooh.
At the end, it's a Peacecraft.
Peacecraft, the Griffin McElroy series on YouTube.
Griffin will love my version.
Griffin was ahead of his time.
He was ahead of his time. So yes, everyone comes to help, and then the ending is better, and then I can forgive, and then the ending's good. So I like the whole movie. That's my change. Andrew, what would you change? Oh, and the orcs like ugly.
Or normal. Or normal. Or normal.
I don't even know what I want, but I don't want this from the lady orc. Andrew, what would you change?
I want the entire movie to be CGI.
Ooh, do I want
I want this to be a computer animated movie. I think that there is this weird need and obsession to be like, it's Lord of the Rings again. Be like, no, you're based on a video game. Just be an animated movie. And frankly, I feel like that could kind of slap. You wouldn't have fuckable orc then.
I was going to say, can she still be human? And the other humans are animated. But
she's the Michael Jordan?
She's still Michael Jordan.
That's more miserable. That's the worst imaginable. That's the worst.
I'm aware.
That's my what would I change if I wanted to burn it all down.
Okay. But yeah, CG movie entirely.
I think just make it a fully animated movie.
Even if they're humans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Animated humans. Because I feel like it's PG-14. It's not rated R. It's not for the older players of the game. Like, it is a fun fantasy realm where everyone is right and has some good in them. Like, it's something that actually should appeal to young adults at the very least. Like, this actually has a good core to be a young adult series about, you know, even if there is a romance with the orc, I think if it's fully animated, it's not necessarily like weirdly uncomfortable, fuckable orc. And it makes it weirder that she's the only human, like the only physical actor. But we remove that weirdness, and then you've got like a star-crossed lovers from different worlds type of thing. There's a lot that appeals to the young adult demographic from this movie that I think kind of works as like an animated series of films. That's 100% animated. But when you try to make it this high fantasy war epic, it's not. It's not. It's just not. At no point do I feel like, oh my God, look at the armies of man. I never feel a moment of like sheer impressive scale that I feel from true live action fantasy. It just never occurs.
I guess. I'm having trouble getting on board with this because I can't picture it a CG movie where the humans are CG and they're still human. Like you're CGing a human to look...
Yeah.
Or is it an animated movie, like a cartoon?
Animated. Like computer animated.
Okay.
Yeah. Like Pixar movies, Up, like any animated movie with a human would be like a CG human.
Okay. All right. I guess I can get behind that more. All right. I'm trying to... I can't picture it. I can't.
Like you can't picture like a drawn human?
I can, but I was picturing like these orcs with like the human equivalent in CG.
Okay.
And that was messing me up. I'm like, so like they're all like Alita battle angel kind of humans. I don't get it, but okay, just an
animated movie.
Oh, just an animated movie. Okay, yeah, that's different. All right, now I get it. No, I get it now. Okay, I really couldn't picture it, and now I can see it.
No,
I wanted to like it.
You know what? I'm not gonna throw you under the bus because I can kind of see where your head's at.
Like Beowulf,
and it might be, not like Beowulf.
That's what I was.
Just an animated movie. Everything is CGI because it was all made on a computer.
Okay.
It is all like Resident Evil has a bunch of like animated feature movies. Okay. That actually work pretty good.
Like How to Train Your Dragon.
Sure, yeah, you could go to that too. That works really well. There's a human and a dragon in that one, so you get kind of both fully. But I see what you're saying. Maybe I wasn't explaining it well, and even if I was, it's like someone being like, "All right, so here's the formula. It is 1 + 1 - 1 - 1, and that's it." And I could have just said 0, but like there's just a little too much going on maybe for the brain to track.
Yes, but I think it works.
Yeah.
It's a good
it's a movie that's half animated, half live action, but we replaced the live action with animated.
Yeah,
and your brain can't comprehend what's happening there. I was
still picturing like mocap actors and they're human, but they're going to have like their faces made digital for some reason.
Right.
So I was all messed up.
I think a fully animated movie, and yeah, you could use mocap actors to try to get certain facial expressions and stuff like that.
They often do.
But we're not trying to get it into the like uncanny valley or like Beowulf Polar Express or whatever. It's just an animated movie, and I feel like that could kind of be a lot of fun and hit some young adult themes a little bit better, and it doesn't need to be this big high fantasy war epic.
I like that. And also what I like about animated movies is I find the scripts are gone over with a fine-tooth comb.
Yes.
Because it takes so long to animate. So I think it would make the story better. And I don't even know in what ways, but they'd make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Love it. Now I love it.
We went on a long walk to get there.
Sorry.
I fully get it. A movie that's half animated and half human actors, but we replace the human actors with animation is a weird thought process to follow.
It's a lot of steps.
Just a fully animated.
I just
movie.
need one step. All right,
fully
got
animated.
it. Fully animated.
And I love your idea as well. Like we do need to fix up this ending so much.
So much. No weird sacrifice plays that don't pay off. You can have a sacrifice play that pays off because that's how movies work.
Yeah, but one. You keep it to one.
Just one.
Yeah,
Just
I'm with you.
One, and then everyone helps.
Yeah, and we both agree the orc is not weirdly sexy.
She's not, and if she is weirdly sexy, it's equal with every other animated person.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Or she
like
could just be the only one not animated. Just gonna throw that out there again. Space Jam, baby.
Space Jam.
Space Jam, but make it sexy.
The person who's best at World of Warcraft got sucked into the World of Warcraft, but they're also sexy.
They're also sexy.
It's Space Jam, but World of Warcraft. Well, that's been Warcraft, y'all.
What a ride.
Oh boy, movies based on video games are always such a treat here on the podcast. So in 2 weeks, will be talking more video game movies with the release of Mortal Kombat. So 2 weeks from now, we'll be talking about Mortal Kombat. Next week, we are going to be back talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Whole thing.
The whole thing. There will be spoilers next week for that. So next week's Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Week after is the new Mortal Kombat movie. In the meantime, if you want to get a hold of us, you can reach me on Twitter at Ivimey, Ivimey.
You can reach me at Words of Diana.
And you can reach both of us at From Superheroes. And we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.